Subtitles. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's truly thrilling story. The professor resolutely walks out of the operating room, steadfastly demanding that Thomas be allowed in. Upon hearing the professor's call, Thomas swiftly dashes through the hallway. He rushed into the OR, never imagining he'd be Johns Hopkins' first African-American medical staffer. Despite the strange looks and unpleasant whispers from around, Thomas didn't care and focused entirely on the surgery. With the professor's announcement, the blue team's surgery officially started, and the team in the operating room was fully focused, while else the professor's wife gently comforts the anxious parents waiting for Aylin, and Thomas' presence adds wings to the professor. After years of preparation, they are fully showcasing their talents now, with all attention and hope concentrated in this small space. However, the surgery wasn't smooth sailing. An assistant, too nervous, accidentally bumped the light, distracting everyone. As you know, panicking during surgery is like asking for trouble, and sure enough, the professor was affected. A rare mistake occurred, and everyone broke into a sweat. Luckily, the professor quickly stopped the bleeding, and the surgery entered the critical phase of vascular diversion and suturing. However, at this moment, the blood pressure monitor dropped below 60, meaning every second counted for Aylin's life. At the critical moment, Thomas' makeshift pre-surgery camera came in handy, greatly speeding up the suturing, though there was a bit more bleed. But with the help of the new suturing technique, the professor successfully completed the vascular suturing. Yet, the challenges weren't over, as the baby's vessels were incredibly tiny. The professor couldn't directly gauge where the blood was flowing into the pulmonary vessels. At this moment, the entire operating room was filled with tension and prayers. Soon, the blood pressure began to rise back to normal, and Aylin's skin gradually turned from blue to a healthy pink, signaling that the first heart surgery in human history was a resounding success. Just like last time, all the flowers and applause went to the professor, and during the team photo, Thomas could only watch from afar. He's like a forgotten shadow. Newspapers and the surgery never mentioned Thomas. At the banquet, Professor stood in the spotlight again, discussing the surgery's success, which relied on team assistance, mentioning Dr. Subtitles. All assistants mentioned, but not Thomas, who disguised as a waiter, lurking unseen. Hoping to hear his name called, all he overheard were words that crushed him. He left the banquet hall. Walking alone on the street, the deep night felt like the gloom in his heart. The next day, he handed in his resignation to the professor, and that was it, just like that. Thomas left again, heading to Morgan University, stating he would take exams and earn some college credits. He thought he could graduate quickly to get to medical school, but reality threw a bucket of cold water on him. According to the rules, he had to attend classes like other students to earn his diploma. Although Thomas fought hard, all his beautiful dreams felt so powerless against the cold rules. Pressed by life, Thomas became a pharmaceutical sales rep, unexpectedly opening a new chapter in his life. One day, a client recognized Thomas, as his name had spread throughout the black medical community courtesy of the families of Blue Eagle patients, eager to support this black man making huge contributions. Many black clients placed orders with him. In just 3 years, Thomas' income skyrocketed, allowing him to buy a car and even owned his own house. Yet material wealth didn't fill his spiritual void. His childhood dream of medicine still remained in his heart. With wife's support, Thomas bravely approached the professor, admitting his love for medicine. He wished to return to work. Rain washed away his fatigue. They let bygones be bygones, and joined forces again in medicine, continuing their remarkable careers, overcoming medical challenges one after another through persistent exploration. They brought hope and light to countless patients. Time flew by, and before they knew it, they had fought side by side for 34 years. Thomas' hair tips were frosted white. The professor, frail, moved slowly in a wheelchair. On the hallway wall, a portrait of the professor hung, capturing his vibrant spirit, fierce ambition from the past, and his triumphs of the present. This portrait revealed it all. The professor's pursuits had been achieved, but he had one regret, that he hadn't let Thomas receive deserved honors. Thinking of this, he stood up, rejecting Thomas' help. He wobbled toward the door, and Thomas never expected this would be the professor's final departure. That day, Dr. Helen informed Thomas that the professor passed away in his sleep. This news hit Thomas like a boulder, instantly draining him of all strength. He slumped weakly on the roadside. This same year, something important happened in the world. Martin Luther King Jr. received the Nobel Peace for leading the civil rights movement, which achieved significant racial equality in American society. For Thomas, it was akin to sunlight piercing through the dark clouds, with that dazzling brilliance finally shining down upon him at that very moment. After years of hard work, rewards finally came, his efforts were finally recognized, and his dreams were realized. The applause he had long awaited finally echoed for him. That year, Dr. Helen told Thomas about the professor's final image. This indeed was the last thing he left behind. Martin Luther King Jr. received the Nobel Peace Prize for leading the civil rights movement, which made Thomas feel utterly drained, slumping by the roadside. This same year, something significant happened around the world, and the applause he had longed for at last rang out for him. Standing in the spotlight, Thomas felt both anxious and proud. 40 years ago, he had put down his hammer and saw, never dreaming he would enter Johns Hopkins University, had earned an honorary doctorate, become a real doctor, and thank all who supported and accepted him.